Coming into this college basketball season, Bronny James was one of the most highly anticipated players, to the point where people were actually lining up hours before the game to see him play. And although he hasn't exactly lived up to the hype, his future's a lot brighter than everyone's making it seem. If you thought Bronny was gonna easily be a one-and-done type of player, then you simply didn't watch him in high school. He put up good numbers his senior year at Sierra Canyon, but the way he plays didn't really scream superstar. Bronny averaged 14 points, a team-high 5.4 rebounds as a guard, 2.9 assists, and 1.8 steals. That doesn't seem like anything crazy, but he was playing with multiple other top players in the country, and there's only one ball. He was one of the most athletic players in his entire class, and his IQ for the game was only getting better. Bronny's got the body of a football player and is extremely quick, so of course one of the best parts about him is definitely his defense. Then on offense, he was actually pretty good. His jump shot looked way more natural than LeBron's, and he could finish at or above the rim whenever he needed to. But at the same time, that's also where one of the biggest problems with his game lies. Not necessarily the scoring part, but the if he will actually try to score part. I don't agree with many things Gilbert Arenas says, but I think what he said about Bronny made a lot of sense. He said that Bronny has a Bugatti engine but likes to drive the speed limit. If you don't know what that means, he's basically saying Bronny has the build and talent to take over games but chooses not to. You can be the best shooter in the world, but if you don't take very many shots, then no one will ever really know. And that is very much the case for him to this day. There are hundreds of college basketball players that struggle to take that next step. They could go from a good role player to a star, but the way they play as is doesn't really allow that. Bronny is a very talented player, and talent isn't just your ability to shoot, play defense, and score the ball. Talent is leadership, your ability to control the game, your ability to read situations, and so much more mental stuff that nobody really talks about. It's a lot deeper than somebody just not being good or reaching their potential. And before I go any further, I just want to say he's also coming off a life-threatening cardiac arrest situation, so everybody has to remember that. I'm not saying Bronny would be averaging 20 points a game if it never happened, but he would definitely be averaging more than the 6 a game he is right now. Not only did he have to sit out multiple games to start the season because of it, but he also has been playing on a minutes restriction. Although because a few players for USC have gotten hurt, he has been thrown into the starting lineup. So now really is his chance to go and catch a rhythm. We've seen him take over games in high school, just not on a very consistent basis. And now we've seen him play extremely well, like his game against Oregon State, but also then have back-to-back games where he scores 0 points. He is a good player, he just lets the game come to him. The only problem with that is if the game never comes to you, then you're kinda screwed and it might be too late for you to make your mark by the time you even realize it. One of the key factors of a star player, and especially as a guard, is if they actually go get the ball and control the game, which Bronny will do sometimes, but not as much as he needs to. I saw him play a few times in person when he was in high school, and his game against St. Vincent St. Mary his senior year kinda showed me exactly what I thought he was. In a game against LeBron's old high school, Bronny finished with just 7 points, and they ended up losing by 6. Instead of Bronny being the show that everyone came to see, it was actually St. V's point guard Kevin Hamilton who dominated in every single aspect of the game. It's kind of funny because Sierra Canyon's roster was stacked with talent and big names, but it was actually a 5'8" point guard for the other team that was the player of the game. Bronny really wasn't trying to get the ball in his hands and wasn't going out of his way to try to score at all. He even fouled out of the game during the final minutes when his team needed him the most. That's obviously just one game, but it goes to show you the way he's playing right now is nothing new. As of halfway through USC's season, Bronny is just not an NBA-ready player, and that's okay. We've seen several star NBA players spend multiple years in college. That's nothing new. He's gotten a ton of media coverage because he's the son of LeBron, but it's also kind of set him up for failure. People were waiting for him to not play well, and right now he's almost playing like he's trying to pay his dues. I feel like because he already gets a crazy amount of attention for being LeBron's kid, he doesn't really want to draw more attention to himself by taking a ton of shots. But until he becomes that guy, he's gonna continue to play exactly how he is now. which again isn't a problem as long as he continues to develop and doesn't stagnate. But at the end of the day, I have a ton of respect for him. From the pressure, the heart condition, and the noise, very few players would be able to play at a high level at 19 with all that adversity. I do think he will be in the NBA at some point, and it could even be after his sophomore year. That wouldn't surprise me at all. And at the end of the day, if he does just quit basketball tomorrow, he's still LeBron's kid, so that's pretty awesome. Now, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like on the video for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to the channel if you're new for more basketball videos just like this one.